What's up, horror fan? Welcome back to the channel. So we have a quick update today on the Crystal Lake TV series. Now, some of you may recall we did get information on this series when it was very first announced. It was going to move quickly through production and we would finally get something related to the Friday the 13th franchise outside of the feature films. But it seems soon after that, the information got very old. We weren't getting anything new. And then all of a sudden, the series was canceled, wasn't going to happen. And then again, nothing after that until we got information that it in fact was going to happen. But now we do have an update going towards the end of the year. Crystal Lake showrunner Brad Caleb Kane has given a small update on the Friday the 13th TV series, which is still in the works. On Halloween of 2022, it was announced that original Friday the 13th screenwriter Victor Miller, fresh off winning the U.S. copyright to the 1980 film after a lawsuit that stretched on for years, was teaming up with his lawyer Mark, franchise holder Rob, production company A24, the Peacock streaming service, and showrunner Brian, whose credits include Hannibal and Pushing Daisies, to develop a new Friday the 13th streaming series called Crystal Lake. Things were moving ahead at a good pace. Filming was expected to begin this July, but then the project hit a speed bump at the end of April with the firing of Fuller and his frequent collaborator Jim Danger Gray. Things got back on track in late August with the hiring of a new showrunner, and that person is Brad Caleb Kane, who also serves as co-showrunner and executive producer of It, Welcome to Derry, the It prequel series that's coming to HBO next year. Earlier this month, another Friday the 13th came around on the calendar, and Kane took that opportunity to give a small update on Crystal Lake. On Instagram, Kane wrote, "Wish I could give a more substantial update, but mum's the word. Suffice it to say the story's been broken, scripts have been and are being written, and the goal is to give the fans, including myself, a tense, scary, bloody, and satisfying ride that's well worth the wait. More news to come in the new year, unless you know we're all doomed." In addition to showrunner, Kane will be credited as creator, writer, and executive producer of Crystal Lake. It remains to be seen if he's using anything from the original Fuller scripts and outlines, or if he scrapped those and started over completely when he was hired, and provided the following statement. "From the moment I watched Jason Voorhees squeeze a guy's eyeball out of his socket in glorious 3D at the tender age of 8 years old, I knew my creative path was someday destined to converge with the man behind the mask. Nothing defined my childhood more than growing up in the golden age of the slasher flick, and nothing's defined the genre more than Friday the 13th. I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity to contribute a chapter to this iconic franchise, particularly with such a fearless partners as Peacock and A24. In addition to It, Welcome to Derry, Kane's TV credits include Fringe, Black Sails, Lodge 49, Mood Haven, Warrior, and Tokyo Vice. A while back, an article published by The Wrap sought to figure out why Crystal Lake fell apart just months before filming was scheduled to begin. Their sources gave a lot of conflicting information, but it seemed to boil down to concerns about Fuller's vision, late scripts, and ballooning budget. It was surpassing the $85 million being provided for the first season, unpaid writers, and possible A24 executives' lack of TV experience. Fuller's approach to the material was to make each season a deconstruction of the first 4 films. The series would incorporate lore from several sequels, but remix the material in a way to Fuller's Hannibal. So season 1 would be set in immediate aftermath of the drowning of a young Jason Voorhees, and it would center on his mother Pam as she goes on a homicidal rampage of revenge. That rampage doesn't turn out well for Pam, opening the door for Jason to return and start his own killing spree. Charlize Theron was on the wish list to play Pam, and Claire Danes was actually offered a 1-season deal to play the character, but she turned it down. I want to touch on this last bit here, which I did catch my eye, that as far as the cost for each episode, it stated here each episode of Crystal Lake was set to have a budget of $9.6 million, but A24 were probably wanting to cut that in half. I think that could easily be done. I don't think you necessarily need $9.6 million for each episode. Nowadays, most of these seasons and TV series are only 8 episodes long, and we just saw Dune Prophecy complete a 6-episode season 1. And yes, the material is completely different. The concept is completely different, so I'm not fully comparing Dune Prophecy to Friday the 13th. However, you can do a lot in a short amount of time. Now, there are some things around Dune Prophecy I would have liked to have seen different, but $9.6 million per episode, that is quite a bit. Again, when you're thinking about this, might be a very centralized filming location, centralized story when you think about Crystal Lake itself, or Camp Crystal Lake. I can't imagine we're going to see a lot of, various locations I mean, it would probably be centered around the camp and various cabins or within, water scenes, things of that nature. I think the most amount of the budget will come around the special effects, killing scenes, things of that nature. And depending upon who you're casting, that also may be where most of your budget's going to go. I will say I am glad to see that this series is moving forward, even though we have seen some bumps in the road. We have seen some delayed in production. I am excited also to see the It prequel series finally get moving forward. We have seen some behind the scenes photos on that, but nothing as far as teaser trailers or full-blown trailers for that TV series. Now, I think a lot can be done here depending upon exactly where they are going to pick up. Now, they did mention they were going to try to use the first 4 films. Now, if they're going to take a mix of those, it would be interesting to see how they were going to take a mix of those first 4 films. Again, it doesn't seem like production's even started on this one. I'm guessing they're probably still working on scripts or completing the full scripts for the season, and we don't even know what the episode count's going to be. Something like this, more than likely, we're going to see an 8-episode count. I can't imagine them doing anything more than 8. The tops would probably be 10 episodes, and even with 10, I think you might be pushing it if you're keeping them around, I'd say 39 to 42 minutes per episode. 10 might be pushing it, assuming you don't put any filler episodes in there, which if you're going to do 10 episodes, more than likely you're going to have probably episode 4 and probably part of episode 5 as a filler, which are just throwaways. And why do that? You might as well just run with an 8-episode series. Try not to have any filler in there. Use the first few for character development, and then the middle, where all you're going to have is a lot of action, a lot of kills. And then if you're going to eventually do a second season, wrap it up, put those cliffhangers in towards the end of episode 7, and setting up and using episode 8 to answer any lingering questions, set up season 2, and then leave the crowd hanging on for wanting to see more. So, all right, everyone, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Are you excited to know that Crystal Lake is still going to be moving forward? And hopefully we will see something in 2025. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Peace.